My name is Werner Liebertegger. I'm today presenting about deploying the CHR on Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. I was just wondering, after Mikrotik has deployed the CHR, made it available, and it was stable, that it was available on the Amazon Web Services, and there were many use cases with the GNS3, but nobody really tried to deploy a cloud-hosted router on Microsoft Azure. Okay, Azure is not known as a very cheap platform compared to the Amazon Web Services, but it has lots of features, and possibly you might find some use case in your application area after this presentation. Something about me: I'm 25 years in technology, not only operations but also management, and currently my company, Quert Solutions, is based in Bavaria in the Austria-Germany border region, focuses on the IoT, cloud, and security. We also provide services for networking and security, and for process, project, and change management in general. So the Mikrotik devices just support our projects, and also add lots of features for specific customers, and also for customers with quite difficult demands. I'm Mikrotik certified trainer. I was the first one in Austria, and we just operate from the Germany-Austria border region. My topics will be just short introducing Microsoft Azure as the platform, then walking through a deployment on the platform and showcasing use cases. Azure is well known. Azure has evolved over the last years. It's not only for hosting virtual infrastructure, but also has a very big part for developers, and also for any IoT, Internet of Things part, and developing possibilities come together with Microsoft Azure. You might ask, there is Amazon Web Services, there are other cloud providers. Why going for Azure? First of all, Microsoft provides almost double the count of data centers and regions of Amazon Web Services, and covers almost every area of this world. But not only, if you have customers who already have Microsoft infrastructure in their data center, and they want to build up a private cloud, or going for research and development and want to deploy in Azure, there are definite needs, and you have to have some sort of networking support as well, and this is where the cloud-hosted router comes in. Some more information about Azure in general. Everybody wanting to have a feeling can get a 1-month trial, and because many companies not only have Microsoft licenses, but some kind of agreements, there are some other ways to get into the Azure cloud. The first one might be paying as you go, quite easy, and the only thing which is needed is a registration and a credit card affiliated with this registration. Some kind of enterprise agreements with Microsoft for software, for licenses, they usually come together with Azure credits today as well. Developer network subscriptions, MSDN. Also, several universities and schools provide the DreamSpark program for the students, and only a few know that there is also some Azure availability within these programs as well, and any other way of connecting to Azure via a Microsoft partner network program. So, in comparison to Amazon Web Services currently offers the possibility to have 1 year free with their smallest subscription. I just went and did a prices comparison for deploying a cloud-hosted router in Microsoft Azure. You might need to operate a virtual machine. These are the costs for 1 month, which relate to less than 12 euros. Together with the storage needed, and the smallest storage amount is 1 gigabyte, it just gets up to less than 30 euros, and you got a cloud-hosted router deployed in the cloud. Even if there is more storage interaction, this doesn't really scale, but keeps the price.
How about data? I mean, not disk data, but transferred internet data. Is
That's
that limited, or?
No, that's the benefit. There is no limitation on that.
Good.
Yeah. The only downside, you have to walk the extra mile. The extra mile in this case means in the Azure catalog, also in comparison to the Amazon Web Services, there is no cloud-hosted router available. But that's an easy one, and after my presentation, you should be able to do it quite quickly and easily. It might take 10 minutes more than deploying a cloud-hosted router in Azure. So, what has to be done? First of all, you need a proper virtual machine image. You need an account and some active subscription. And there is at least 2 ways of managing all the Azure items and virtual machines, either via graphical user interface, which means an updated web browser, or the command line. Everybody working with Microsoft tools will be very familiar with PowerShell and the PowerShell enhancements. There's also an enhancement for Azure, or a separate tool available for every other operating system than Microsoft Windows. The only problem is Microsoft's cloud only accepts the VDI. So you have to take any of the images provided per Mikrotik and convert it. This should go also easy. There are several tools available. Many of you surely operate some sort of virtual management application like Vim, VirtualBox, or any other system which is capable of converting virtual machines into the VDI. Very important is it must be a pre-allocated image, and if you're lucky and already have any kind of Hyper-V manager and also the Microsoft PowerShell, you can go for this. And if you need any detailed information, it is quite well documented. Okay, so this serves as our first topic to provide a proper virtual machine of the cloud-hosted router. And please, before uploading, just check if this VDI image has at least 128, 130 megabytes. Then you may be sure that this is a pre-allocated image. Any image smaller than that won't work. Okay, to deploy the cloud router into the Azure platform or any other platform, usually you need to make your virtual machine image available by setting up some storage and uploading this image into the storage. Next, there will be the need to set up the virtual machine and get it running, and afterwards just connect to the cloud-hosted router and configure it. Very important, and this can cause a lot of confusion in the first run. If you're using command line, like the Azure CLI or the PowerShell, just prepare your account to be available in the command line. This is a wide mistaking step, just to use the command line, but you are not connected to your Azure account. This must be prior available so that that works out. Okay, for just setting up the storage, I will use some screenshots. The presentation also has the screenshots for deploying, but the part of deploying the cloud-hosted router as well as setting it up will be done as a demo. In the portal itself, after logging in, you get a menu. You just choose the storage, and the benefit is there are several data centers available depending on your contract, where you can set up the storage and deploy your CHR2. And that's quite straightforward and easy. Just name the storage, select the region or the data center, and choose the storage availability. Is it locally redundant? Is it geographically redundant? For general purpose of a CHR, I think locally or geographically redundant storage is far enough. The costs are not that differing. And if this storage is set up, you only need to set up a container for the virtual machine, which is also done in a few steps, and afterwards your VHD image can be uploaded. You should also be able, after upload, to see this upload in the same GUI, graphical user interface, and then it is just about deploying the virtual machine. And here, the extra mile also comes in. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, since there is no image right available, you have to set up a new disk, which is quite easily done. You just check the storage, you just create it and set up. For example, I just uploaded the latest release candidate for this demo. Give it a name. Mark this image as containing an operating system and just acknowledge the dialog. Okay, there's some machine naming. As you saw, the names must be unique. So if anybody else already chose this name, there might be a conflict and you have to go for another one. So this takes usually some time, and the virtual machine is deployed. Right afterwards, after the disk is available. If you get the information that the disk is available, you can just switch to the virtual machines here and set up another one. So here we go. Okay. At this point, you can choose which subscription item you want to go for. And this is directly related to the costs, to the monthly costs of your deployment. So the smallest one with one core and 768 memory should be enough for testing. The next step is a very important one, since you do not only go for the data center and some more information, but also configuring the endpoint. Endpoint in this case means you are just enabling the ports and the ways you may access the device from the outside. So if you need to go for Winbox, you have to open the Winbox board and map it. Also, if you're going with SSH or any other connection, also with some tunneling, you have to make the tunnel ports available in here in the endpoints. Right now, I'm just leaving it because we have to go a little bit later on. The next step just ticks off that this virtual machine has any kind of management agent in it, because it doesn't. And afterwards, this machine will be deployed. So. This usually takes some time to be finished. The next step I will show you after the deployment has been finished is, please be aware that there is frequent, not only IP, but also port scanning on any public Microsoft IPs. And this needs you to immediately secure your router. Don't expect that there is no one trying to invade or hack your device. Even if you just try to shut it down when no endpoint configuration in the virtual machine setup is done. So make sure that you set up the admin passwords, that you're closing down the service points, ports, and that you apply the proper firewall rules. Also, to properly set up, just go for enabling the endpoints, which means the ports you would need, and then you are able to access your cloud-hosted router on that. Okay, so let's see if this is already finished. Okay, it's just still deploying. It's the first line. So, some use cases which we use cloud-hosted routers for. First one is testing and solution development in the matter of Internet of Things. Also, we had a request for Microsoft Active Directory authentication via Radius. And every Azure account also gets a standard Microsoft Active Directory access as well. So you don't need to have federation services or similar available, but you can start up developing against Active Directory structures from scratch. Training support. We do not only run a cloud-hosted router, but also a Linux virtual machine in the cloud, supporting Radius services and Wireshark, which tops up the trainings. Network management and support. We have some distant router ports deployed, and these are managed via the cloud-hosted router, connected via tunnels. Capsman use the cloud-hosted router as the Capsman server and connect the clients if you really want either directly or the better way would be via tunnels. This works out, and the classic use is as a dude server for the remote services and remote routers. Also, the deployment of endpoints in different geographic locations, which is quite easy and can be easily done with the opportunity of the different data centers. Just a short question. Who did already deploy CHR on any cloud? Did you also focus on that and operate it, or it was just test? Test? Okay. Who is going to, or who is currently operating CHRs in any kind of cloud environment? Oh, not so few. Okay. Okay. So this CHR 29 has been deployed. In the dashboard, you will get the basic information, which is the public IP address of your deployed cloud-hosted router, right here. Oops. And together with this IP address and the properly configured endpoints, you are easily able to connect to, with Winbox, for example. So we are going for a standalone endpoint. Okay. This might take a while. Yeah, for that reason, I got a prepared one. So which is this one? Okay. It usually takes a while until the DNS settings are communicated. I just took the regular one with 637.1 deployed. This is quite easily going. What we also prepared for here is the initiation of the Capsman. Capsman is pre-configured in the cloud-hosted router and can be enabled via an L2TB tunnel. So, okay, it's connected. It will take some time. Okay. This is on the client right here, and this is on the Capsman in the cloud. So if you just want okay, here we go. So this is quite easily set up and works well. If anybody wants to connect to the Wi-Fi network, no more fire alarms. Yep. Okay, so your key takeaways for today and for this presentation should be deploying and using CHR on the Microsoft Azure cloud is quite easy and enhances your on-premise services. Might also become handy if some of your customers already operate in a cloud infrastructure hosted by Microsoft. Also, it is easy configurable and scalable, and it's a perfect platform for research and development, also for preparing specific configurations together with any kind of Microsoft structure like Active Directory or Active Directory Federation services. And also, it is a nice way to remote manage network infrastructure on not quite easily accessible locations. Okay, thank you, and I'd be very happy to answer any kind of questions related to Microsoft Azure, deploying cloud-hosted routers, or the cloud in general, if there are any.
Hang on, Pete. Sorry. Yeah. From the Azure data centers spread across the globe, can you get physical access for breakout in those locations? Is that something that you can get from Azure as a service?
Not as far as I know.
Okay. But if you had something else, maybe in a data center nearby, you could tunnel between two.
This is always possible. I'm almost sure that Microsoft doesn't allow access to their data centers, but as any cloud platform offers you the availability to deploy virtual machines of any kind in their data center, you can use it as a second location, co-locate, or use it as a backup for your data center on premise.
That's cool.
I didn't get the question total.
So it's an answer to this question there. So Azure has something called Express Route, which allows you, much like Direct Connect for AWS, it'll allow you to use a third party, which in my experience is usually Equinix, to basically give you a virtual cable, I think would be a nice way of putting it, into your environment.
Yeah, but it's not possible to deploy your infrastructure into their environment. You can purchase the access, but you won't be allowed to access theirs.
Do you have remote desktop access to that server as well as hosting a cloud-based router as well? It's on a Windows platform.
If it's on a Windows platform, and you might have seen it, this was the test system I introduced last week, and this was the one today. The remote desktop and the PowerShell endpoints were issued immediately after deploying. So if this would have been a Windows server, you would have remote desktop access.
So I could run the dude on the same platform and tunnel across to router boards on private networks just by logging into the remote desktop. That's good.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.